What's up, gang? What going on? Man, Trey gang back at it again, right? Man, look, check this out, y'all. Is not gonna believe this. Now, everybody know the whole case about Shanquella, right? Everybody know the case about Shanquella happened in Mexico and how her case exposed all the corruption in Mexico, exposed all the corruption. I was doing a little research, gang. I was looking in to another murder, right? That the investigative reporter was talking about, the black dude was killed in Tijuana. Y'all, Tijuana and Cabo, Mexico. Man, them folks, it's like the whole Mexico is really fucked up. Don't y'all know how the murder rate is out there, guys? Watch this, y'all. I'm gonna show y'all some shit right quick. Right? Watch this. Look. Y'all see this? Mystery surrounding North Carolina woman death. And this not hold on, why this showing up? That ain't the one I bought. Not this one, but this one. Missing North Carolina teacher found shot to death on a dirt road, Mexico officials say. And this was in November the 20th, 2018, right? 2018, right? That he was a teacher from North Carolina was found shot to death on a dirt road, what the officials said in Mexico. Now let's take a little glimpse of what's really going on.
Family and friends in North Carolina now say they've been told Patrick Braxton Andrews is dead. Authorities telling them he was targeted while traveling in a remote area. His body has not been found. Authorities have not officially confirmed his death.
A North Carolina teacher who disappeared in Mexico last month has been found shot to death on a dirt road, according to Mexican officials. Patrick Braxton Andrew, 34, never returned after leaving his hotel in Urique, a municipality in Mexico's northwestern state of Chihuahua, on October 28. The hotel owner told his parents, according to a Facebook post his father wrote on an alumni page for Braxton Andrews' alma mater, Davidson College. More. Braxton Andrews' body was found about a mile away from the road leading to the village of Guapalena to Los Lodges in Urique, according to a press release by the Chihuahua state government. The area had already been searched, so officials believe his body was placed there. His body had traces of reddish dirt and pine leaves, but had been placed on a stony surface in an area that lacked vegetation, officials said. Autopsy results showed that Braxton Andrew died from a gunshot wound to the head, according to the release. Local authorities are continuing to investigate his death. The state's Attorney General's office told ABC News last week that investigators found a blood trail during the search and his family had submitted DNA to perform a test. Last week, Javier Corral, the governor of Chihuahua, wrote that Braxton Andrew had been assassinated at the hands of drug trafficker Jose Noriel Portillo Gil, known as El Chueco. Corral described Braxton Andrew as an innocent victim who suffered the misfortune of crossing paths with El Chueco. Over the weekend, the family wrote on Twitter that it was a sense of relief that his body had been found and that they would soon be able to bring him home.
Now y'all see this shit? Look at this shit. Look what happened a couple of days ago. When I told y'all it be celebrities go to Mexico and they be committing murder, Jack. Real talk. Look at this shit. UFC fighter arrested for murder in Mexico.
Unfortunate news to bring to you. Former UFC and Pride star, the New York badass Phil Baroni, has been arrested in Mexico for allegedly murdering his girlfriend. This article is from bjpen.com.
And I just said this shit, these folks be doing this shit. They're planning family trips, you know what I'm saying, a vacation, and they leave with a loved one behind.
And is linked in the description below. UFC and Pride veteran Phil Baroni has been arrested in Mexico for allegedly murdering his girlfriend, according to multiple reports. The reports came out on Tuesday, January the 3rd, 2023, that Phil Baroni allegedly killed his girlfriend inside their hotel room. The report states that Baroni was under the influence of alcohol and drugs. When the police arrived on the scene, the officers saw the woman lying naked on a bed covered with a bedsheet. However, there were marks of beatings and bruises on her face, and she was pronounced dead at the scene.
So look, now think about how they found Shanquella in the goddamn room. Know what I'm talking about, gang? They got Shanquella was found the same fucking way.
Phil Baroni allegedly told police it was around 3 p.m. when he started to smoke marijuana and drink a beer in his room when the two got into an argument. During the argument, Baroni's girlfriend reportedly told him that she was having sexual relations with another man. After that, the former UFC fighter threw his girlfriend into the shower and she hit her head on the ground. As Phil Baroni's girlfriend was trying to get up, it states he did help her up and then put her on the bed. He proceeded to remove her clothes and then put a bed sheet on top of her. According to the report, Phil Baroni's girlfriend then asked for a cigarette and a beer, so he left the room to go get it, and by the time he returned, he noticed his girlfriend had no vital signs. The report states that Phil Baroni was arrested for homicide. A full investigation is now underway to determine the exact cause of death.
Watch this. Mexican police arrest two suspects in the gruesome murder of a 7-year-old girl.
Police in Mexico have taken a man and a woman into custody following the abduction and murder of a 7-year-old girl whose body was found wrapped in a plastic bag, officials say. The victim, identified by investigators as Fatima, was buried Tuesday by grieving family members, friends, and neighbors. She was last seen alive leaving her school on February 11th with a woman who was not her mother, before being found dead over the weekend in a rural area on the outskirts of Mexico's capital. The alleged perpetrators of the femicide of the minor Fatima were detained in a town in the state of Mexico with the support of the National Guard, Mexico City Mayor Claudia Sheinbaum said in a tweet late Wednesday, according to the BBC. Sheinbaum earlier had said the two suspects are apparently a couple and that witnesses told investigators the pair had abandoned their rented home in a southern Mexico City neighborhood on Saturday, the day before the girl's body was discovered. Authorities then searched the house Tuesday night. They found the shoes and sweater Fatima was wearing on the day of her abduction, in addition to the female suspect's clothes, the BBC reports. The outlet, citing the El Universal newspaper, said the pair were tracked down Wednesday afternoon with the help of a drone. The girl's mother, Maria Magdalena Anton, told Milenio Television on Thursday that the female suspect had once sought shelter at her home, because she said her husband wanted to kill her. The suspect later apparently returned to her husband. The revelation may explain why Fatima went willingly with the suspect because she knew her. Mexico City's police chief, Omar Garcia, said Thursday the female suspect and her husband are being held on charges they tried to bribe police into letting them go. Authorities hope to bring kidnapping or murder charges against them soon. While authorities have not revealed the cause of death or any abuse Fatima suffered before her death, Garcia did say police found plastic zip ties that were apparently used to restrain the girl at a house near where she was abducted on Mexico City's south side. Family members say the day Fatima disappeared, her mother was about 15 to 20 minutes late to pick her up. In Mexico City, grade school students often walk out of school after classes to meet parents waiting on the sidewalks, but there have been few controls to ensure someone is there to meet them. The girl's grandfather and others have criticized the school for turning Fatima out onto the street when classes were done for the day and for not calling police to come get her when there was no parent present. Children who aren't picked up are supposed to be taken to a prosecutor's facility in the central neighborhood of Doctors. It can take an hour or more to get there from outlying neighborhoods, especially when the sprawling capital's notorious traffic is at its peak. With the death of Fatima, officials have said they plan to have prosecutors' offices around the city care for children who aren't picked up until their parents are able to claim them closer to home. Sheinbaum said officials also plan to bolster protocols for identifying people who pick kids up from school, accelerate deployment of security cameras, and have uniformed workers on hand for security at drop-off and pick-up hours.
Now check this out. This in Tijuana. They said the city of Tijuana. And remember this, I linked the doctor that was with Shanquella, I linked her to a clinic in Tijuana and another hospital, right? They said Tijuana, Mexico is the top of the list with the highest murder rate in the world. Of all cities outside the Middle East and war zone, the officials say, look, check this out. They had 138 killed, 100,000 inhabit, right? In 2018, as many a total of 2,600 were killed. 2,600 people died in 2018 in Tijuana. 6 people found shot to death in Tijuana at City near 2000, and that was reported in December 2022. Look at this shit, gang. This this is how safe. Look, this is how safe in the murder capital of Mexico, right?
Murder capital of Mexico. Not a destination for normal tourists.
See that?
This wonderful world has some countries and cities not to visit, if you like to stay healthy and alive. The city of Tijuana in Mexico is on top of the list with the highest murder rates in the world of all cities outside the Middle East and war zones. The official and miserable statistic says that Tijuana had 138 killed by 100,000 inhabitants. In 2018, as many as a total of 2,640 were killed and made Tijuana the murder capital of Mexico. Graveyards in Tijuana. This is very sad for Tijuana and its people, because this city used to be the most famous city and a safe haven on the border between the US and Mexico. But not any longer. It's a city where crime and corruption reigns.
What?
To stay on top as a murder capital don't attracts many normal tourists. The Guardian also writes about crime in Tijuana. Lighthouse and Historic Magazine. Tijuana has few things you might not expect, such as a big boy restaurant best known for its trademark chubby boy in red and white holding a cheeseburger, even if the chain went bankruptcy in 2000. And the Tijuana Lighthouse, the first built in Latin America, still stand high shining white light every 6 seconds. The most unexpected to be found is the print edition of the historic Auto Trader magazine, still sold in every store more or less. Street art all over Tijuana. A floating population. The murder capital also has a very large population of temporary residents, a kind of floating population as part of the total close to 2 million. And lots of guns and other weapons. The only thing you don't find in Tijuana is tourists. Well, that is not exactly correct. There are safe areas, or areas more safe than other. My contact in Mexico declares that in general this is a safe place for tourists to visit, even with such a poor and scary reputation. The local record is from June 2019 when 31 murders were reported during only 3 days in Tijuana.
God damn. You mean to tell me 31 murders, bruh, in 3 days? 3 days. And check this out. I ain't even get to Cabo yet. Tijuana is the first goddamn city you come through when you cross over the San Diego border, right? And you in Tijuana. So it's going down. And the corruption at its finest. Like that lady said, like them YouTubers saying, when they were looking into this shit, they put a whole travel ban and letting everybody know, man, don't go to Mexico. You know what I'm talking about? Pick you somewhere else to go.
Tijuana. Whatever my serious contact says, this border town is not my priority to visit. Guided tours in the murder capital. Derek Chin, originally from Ohio, is a local tour guide in Tijuana. Moments before starting tour of the day, he disclosed Tijuana's homicide rate to the group. People seemed mildly shocked, but nobody was scared. It's ironic that tourists aren't afraid even though the violence is worse than ever. They aren't aware of what's happening, Chin told the local paper. For those of us living here, it's like being sick with a chronic illness. We live with it constantly and it always comes back. So, we have to adapt, everything can happen, he said with an easy smile. The only way to stay safe is not going to Tijuana.
Damn. God
Derek
damn.
Chin, a tour guide in Tijuana without fear. You never know. If you feel like one who have to visit Tijuana, make sure you are there in the autumn to enjoy the cultural events season kicks off. Expect events such as the Tijuana Art Cultural Festival, which presents local, national, and foreign contemporary artists. Finally, don't forget to take a tour of the Cuauhtémoc Moctezuma Brewery, which brews the world-famous Dos Equis beer, to learn all about the beer brewing process. Once Tijuana was portrayed in movies as Disneyland for adults and a place to hide. Now it is a murder city, for many a city to escape. Which makes Tijuana like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
Listen to this, gang. Suspect in Tijuana murder case showed up in Chuckle Beach to court on other charges.
Are coming together this week in the North County for an event focused on stopping human trafficking. The organizer says it's an opportunity to inform the community and challenge businesses to be part of the solution.
See this shit, gang? I gotta hear this shit, bro.
It is the most disgusting, damaging field that people do not understand, and the movies in Hollywood do not portray the reality here. And North County, unfortunately, has the numbers higher than in San Diego.
The annual Women of Success Expo is being held at One Safe Place, the North County Family Justice Center in San Marcos, on Wednesday afternoon. It's estimated as many as 8,000 people are trafficked for sex every year in San Diego County alone. NBC7 uncovered evidence of it happening in nearly every school district in San Diego County. To help better understand the problem, NBC7's Stolen documentary will be screened as part of the program, and I have the honor of emceeing the event. That screening will be followed by a panel of speakers ranging from survivors to top prosecutors working to hold perpetrators accountable. There are still tickets available for the expo. To find out how to register, just go to NBC7.com.
A man accused of killing his stepmother in Mexico last month made an appearance in a Chula Vista courtroom Monday for unrelated charges. Aaron Juarez, 20, is suspected by authorities in Tijuana of shooting his stepmother and burying her body in the backyard of her home. On Monday, He pleaded not guilty to charges of violation probation and heroin possession in San Diego County. He brought a small amount of heroin into a jail setting, said San Diego Deputy District Attorney Robert Ecret. Juarez is currently being held in jail on no bail. He is a known gang member in San Diego County, added Ecret. Juarez is facing murder charges in Tijuana but not in the United States for the death of Fernanda Gonzalez, 32.
Heard it. Y'all heard that shit, bro.
Local. Mission Beach, January 6th. Gonzalez grew up in Tijuana and San Diego. She was found buried in her backyard in February by her sister and father after the family received tips on social media regarding her whereabouts. The medical examiner's office said she died from a gunshot wound to the head. The Gonzalez family suspected Juarez in the killing. Fernanda Gonzalez had known him since he was 4 years old. Juarez had been living with Fernanda Gonzalez and her husband at her Tijuana home for the past 2 months, the same home where her body was discovered. San Diego County Court documents show Juarez has a criminal history. He was charged with possession of a firearm and ammunition by a felon and resisting an officer for an incident in November 2018. He was also charged with transportation and sale of marijuana. Jesus Rodolfo Cruz, an attorney for the Gonzalez family, told Telemundo 20 that Juarez had allegedly been using drugs and firearms while living with Gonzalez and socializing with the wrong crowd. Fernanda Gonzalez was first reported missing 1 month ago by Erica Gonzalez, who is from San Diego's South Bay. Erica Gonzalez said she knew something was wrong when she could not get in contact with her sister. Aaron Juarez is suspected in the killing of his stepmother, Fernanda Gonzalez. Gonzalez was found buried in the backyard of her own home in Tijuana, Mexico. "We were calling her phone, she didn't answer," Erica Gonzalez said. She said she lost contact with her sister on February 3rd and reported the disappearance 2 days later. That same day, Fernanda Gonzalez's husband showed up at UC San Diego Medical Center with an unexplained gunshot wound. He is a U.S. citizen who works in San Diego. According to the San Diego Police Department, gunshot wound victims are generally reported by the hospital to law enforcement and a report is taken by police. However, SDPD told NBC7 by phone Monday no police report was taken. Officers clarified that if the gunshot wound happened in Mexico, a report might not be taken by law enforcement in the United States because no investigation would take place. NBC7 also reached out to the California Highway Patrol Monday.
Damn, gang.
They did not take a report on the unexplained gunshot wounds.
What?
Aaron's father was in court in Chula Vista Monday and confirmed he was shot but would not elaborate. Fernanda Gonzalez grew up in San Diego and lived with her husband in Tijuana. After 3 weeks of no leads from investigators, Erica Gonzalez took to social media to offer a reward for information leading to her discovery. The family is still offering a reward of 10,000 Mexican pesos for information that leads to Fernanda Gonzalez's Jeep Cherokee. We received calls from different people saying she was in the back of her house, Erica said. The tips indicated Fernanda was dead and that she was buried in the backyard of her Tijuana home. Some of the tips even said who killed her. The tips indicated Fernanda Gonzalez was dead and that she was buried in the backyard of her Tijuana home. Some of the tips even said who killed her. The police did not search the property right away, so the family conducted a search of their own and found Fernanda Gonzalez's body buried right where tipsters said to look.
And you mean to tell me the police couldn't? Come on, man. Come on, man. Look, gang. This ain't even all of, man. My computer is filled with this shit, bro. This shit, I done got so much goddamn murder cases from Tijuana all the way to the bottom of that motherfucker. The way they describe in Mexico, the way they describe in Mexico, to be honest with y'all, man, you could be a hood nigga. Man, they gonna snatch your ass up and do your ass in, bro. It ain't safe for nobody, bro. Man, it ain't safe for no United States tourists to come down there. Cause they killing you, bro, they killing you for your money, robbing you and killing you for your money. Cause they know if you got some money on you, that money down there 3 times worth more when they hit Mexico. So you can see the motive why they doing this shit. This why the feds saying, hold on, we got a travel ban. Don't go to Mexico. Why? Why don't go to Mexico? They ain't gonna give you the real, the full detail, the reason why don't take y'all ass down there. You know what I'm talking about? So they went to this house, and you mean to tell me the police couldn't find the body, but these people with the same information the tipsters gave, they went and found they. Come on, gang. They weren't even trying to look for the girl. They weren't trying to look for that lady. They had to let the family do this. Check this out. Mexican journalist Margarito Martinez has been murdered in Tijuana. Gang, don't y'all know how many reporters they done lost their life covering topics when they come to human trafficking, drug trafficking, and exposing how the Cartel is murdering United citizens? That's the number one thing that's going on in Mexico. Murder, human trafficking, drug trafficking. So listen to this shit, gang.
This year has already been a deadly one for journalists in Mexico.
See that?
2 were killed by unknown assailants.
2.
It's not a new story that reporters' lives are in danger in Mexico.
They
But
said
the most
this.
recent murder of a photojournalist in the northern border city of Tijuana has.
So look, this ain't even nothing new that journalists is getting killed. You know what I'm talking about? Because I done read so many journalists done got assassinated.
Shaken his colleagues deeply. NPR's Carrie Khan is in Tijuana and joins us now. Hey, Carrie. Carrie Khan, byline, hi, Elsa. Chang, so tell us more about this photographer. Who was he? Con, he's very well known here. His name was Margarito Martinez. He was 49 years old, and he's been a photographer covering crime here for nearly 2 decades. He worked for multiple media outlets, including many international ones. And, Elsa, he had this nickname 4-4, Cuatro Cuatro. Here's a colleague of his, Tijuana journalist Gabriela Martinez Cordova, Ph. Gabriela Martinez Cordova, Margarito always with everybody when he say hi or goodbye, that was the answer, Cuatro Cuatro, speaking Spanish. Con, 4-4, it's a police term, and Martinez used that same vernacular with his colleagues. And, that was his way of giving them the all-clear sign that it was safe to come to a crime scene because he was the first, just many times to arrive to these horrific and dangerous sites. Authorities say he was killed in front of his home Monday afternoon as he was leaving to head out to a crime scene. And the gun that was used to kill Martinez has been tied to 5 other crimes in Tijuana in the past year. Chang, wow. Horrible. Well, what have authorities said about his murder? I mean, it was in broad daylight.
Damn.
Do they have any suspects, any idea of motive at this point? Con, local police that arrived at the scene immediately after he was killed said it looked like a neighborhood dispute. But state investigators said they were looking at possible ties as his work as a journalist. A man who posts about crime in the city on social media was arrested early yesterday morning. He had had a public fight with Martinez over these crime news sites that have just proliferated in the city. He had accused Martinez of creating fake news websites, but this man was arrested on possessing marijuana found at his home when authorities searched it yesterday. He was not charged in the murder of Martinez. Chang, can you just walk us through that? Like, what is this fight over social media and news websites that's going on in Tijuana right now? Con, it's not a new fight. Like many places in the world, there have been a significant rise in Facebook pages and Twitter accounts of all sorts of people covering the news. But keep in mind, Tijuana is one of the most violent cities in Mexico, and amidst that, we have many websites that just show these violent scenes, graphic murders. And they don't follow traditional journalistic ethics and protocols for reporting on the violence. So there have been clashes with traditional journalists, and they say this free-for-all type of reporting puts them in danger because unlike the bloggers and Facebook communicators, they're anonymous or their backers are anonymous, but everybody knows who the traditional journalists are. And to highlight this, several reporters in Tijuana just this week have asked for protection from state and federal law enforcement due to threats they've received since Martinez's murder. Chung, okay. Well, at this point, where does the investigation go from here? Con, it's unclear. Look, Mexico is a very dangerous place for journalists. Press Freedom Group says it's the most dangerous outside of a war zone. It's just January. We've already had 2 killed, Martinez here in Tijuana and a reporter in Veracruz. We could focus on this twist here about new journalism versus old journalism. But the bottom line is journalists in Mexico are dealing with incredible impunity here. Only about 2% of all murders in Mexico are ever solved, let alone a perpetrator sentenced.
What? Man, y'all heard that game. Just like what Tisha tell that lady coming to Shanquella case, what she told y'all. Mexico got a poll rating of convictions. They got a poll rating of conviction, and this news article just confirmed this shit, bro.
Martinez's funeral is tonight here in Tijuana, and scores of his colleagues are expected to be there. Chang, that is NPR's Carrie Khan reporting from Tijuana. Thank you so much, Carrie.
Cartel hitman sentenced in the murder of Tijuana journalist. They sent the cocktail hitman. Man, these folks ain't playing with these journalists. Man, when the investigator reporting on the Shanquilla case, he told everybody, he like, man, our job hard as hell. You know what I'm talking about? And he putting everything that he can put out that motherfucker. So listen to this game.
Sonia de Anda attended every single court hearing in the murder trial of Margarito Martinez. Prosecutors recounted the gruesome details during the 5-hour-long sentencing hearing in a Tijuana courtroom on Monday. De Anda is also a journalist. She says that the gunman hunted down the 49-year-old Martinez as if he were their prey.
Realmente fue cazado por estos sujetos.
The two hitmen stalked Martinez for 2 days before killing him on the morning of January 19th. An assassin identified as El Uber shot Martinez 3 times from the back while another man, known as El Huesos, filmed the whole thing. They were paid $1,000 each. Martinez was a prolific crime reporter in Tijuana. His murder...
What? What? They were paid $1,000 just to off? That ain't no That ain't no money.
prompted protests and demonstrations throughout the city. Prosecutors also identified the alleged mastermind of the murder, a man known as Cabo 20. He allegedly ordered Martinez's killing because of an article about his family published in Zeta. Cabo 20 believed incorrectly that Martinez had taken photographs of his family. Those photos actually came from government sources. Cabo 20 is currently in jail for another murder and has not been formally charged in Martinez's death. De Anda says that justice won't be served until everyone involved is convicted.
What? Y'all just heard that shit, bro? So if they doing that, that made me think about the combo. Would they get justice to it? Will we get justice on the Shanquilla case if everybody else get locked up? Because that's what they just explained to me. Hey, y'all, what going on, gang? You know what I'm talking about?
Presionar a la autoridad para que haga todo lo posible y para llegar al asesino intelectual.
She says journalists will continue to pressure authorities. Gustavo Solis, KPBS News.
Mexico's president plans to address the violence in parts of his country today. This is violence that seemed to be a protest against federal law enforcement. Federal police arrested the head of a drug cartel. And that is when people started setting cars on fire. They also torched businesses. This happened in the state of Jalisco and also in the state of Guanajuato and in Tijuana, the city by the U.S.-Mexico border. They set cars on fire and blocked roads. And somebody claiming to represent the cartel issued an eerie demand for a curfew. Our colleague A. Martinez is in Tijuana. A. Good morning. A. Martinez, host. Good morning, Steve. INSKEP, how did this story unfold where you are? Martinez, well, we'd already been planning to visit Tijuana this week for the past few months to report on migrants at the busiest border crossing in the U.S. That's San Isidro in San Diego. And while doing some prep on Friday night, the Friday before, I started to see social media posts of cars being burned in Baja, where the majority were happening in Tijuana. Now, these incidents, as you mentioned, followed a federal arrest of a high-ranking member of the Jalisco drug cartel. There were also posts claiming to be from the cartel, called Jalisco Nueva Generation, calling for a 10 p.m. curfew Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night.
Hold on, bro. They said they said there were posts claiming to be from the cartel, saying everybody need to be in the house at 10 p.m. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night. I want to know how much power these cartels got, cause it's like it to me. You might well say the drug people run Mexico, and the government fish are just taking payouts. Cause if you think about it, look how much money generating just from their drugs alone, especially on the weed. All the weed is coming from Mexico, Brazil, Colombia. It's right there.
The mayor of Tijuana pushed back, declaring there was no curfew, that the city was open and that criminals will not dictate what happens in our city. INSKEP, well, she said that. But the cartel said, stay home. So what did people do? Martinez, they stayed in pretty much all weekend. You see, Tijuana on a warm summer night on the weekends is usually bustling with people going to bars and restaurants on Revolucion or near Friendship Park. It was really eerie, Steve, to see videos of these areas essentially closed, hardly anyone on the streets except for police and the National Guard. INSKEP, well, what does that say about who really has power in Mexico? Martinez, and we asked that exact question to Cecilia Farfan Mendez. She's head of security research at the Center for U.S.-Mexico Studies at UC San Diego. Cecilia Farfan Mendez, the population had to follow rules from criminal groups whether or not these were verified. And I think this aligns really well with data that we have on the perception that criminal groups have the firepower capacity to effectively confront the state.
They ain't lying about that, cause they going to war with the feds right now when they locked up El Chapo son. And they outgunned the military. I showed y'all on the news when that lady was in front of that prison, man, and they were telling her, what did you see? She was like, it was masked men and all black. They guns were bigger than the goddamn military. Shit.
State. And so the quick, sheltering in place instead of, like, obeying orders in the midst of that uncertainty also tells you a lot about how the population perceives the effectiveness of the state, either federal or locally, in terms of their response to what is happening. Martinez. While Farfan Mendez goes on to add that this narco narrative needs to be abandoned, she believes it's important to figure out the structural causes of violence in Tijuana, which she believes is the responsibility of the mayor, Montserrat Caballero Ramirez. I interviewed her in her office at City Hall. And while we spoke about what's been unfolding the past week, Caballero Ramirez touted how secure the city of Tijuana is for its residents and tourists. Montserrat Caballero Ramirez, through interpreter, burning 10 cars in a city of 2 million people statistically does not make it an act of terrorism. The situation is serious, but it is not dire. Take precautions if you want to come to Tijuana. But know that there were no homicides. And it's not how some media make it out to be. The city remains safe because we contained the situation. The governor of the state has said that those who committed these atrocities have already been captured. We do not have the peace that we would like in the whole country. I would be lying to you if I said that. But we are hoping for stability. Martinez, we were monitoring social media. We were monitoring what you were saying also. And you were saying, there is no curfew, that it's absolutely fine, right? Caballero Ramirez, through interpreter, exactly. Martinez, but the people that we've spoken to so far, they tended to believe the cartel. They didn't want to take any chances. And they believed the cartel. They took their warnings maybe a little bit more seriously than they took what you said. How do you square that? How do you think of, wait, these, my own citizens believe the cartel, and they don't believe me? Caballero Ramirez, through interpreter, it's an unfortunate question of culture, narcos culture. The media treats cartels in a singular way. And I cannot allow a cartel to rule my citizens. I cannot allow citizens to pay the consequences of these criminal acts. Martinez, how do you change that? How do you get the people to believe you, the mayor, the leader of this town, over a cartel? Caballero Ramirez, through interpreter, well, we need them to trust our police. We have a visit from the President of Mexico. And we're going to ask for a little more support from the Federation so that citizens who do not trust can trust again. Martinez, we've spoken to people that study crime in Mexico. And what they're telling us is that the cartels operate and say the things they say and do the things they do because they feel confident that government is either going to look away or is maybe encouraging their behavior. Caballero Ramirez, through interpreter, it has happened a lot. Some of their leaders have had these pacts. It's very clear and everyone knows it. But in this government, there is no pact with criminals. And I'm going to protect the good citizens who go out to work, the law-abiding citizens. Martinez, and in the short term, Tijuana is being blanketed with protection. A couple of nights ago, some of my colleagues were on their way back to the hotel. They passed a checkpoint where cars were being inspected close to where one of the vehicles had been set on fire last Friday. I appreciated listening to the mayor there, who was arguing, listen, let's focus on the 2 million people whose cars were not set on fire. I guess that's one perspective. But how does it feel to other people in that city? Martinez. Well, Tijuana hasn't seen this level of open chaos in its streets in over a decade. I've heard from folks this past week, Steve, that brought back awful memories from the mid-2000s, when the Mexican government was trying to crack down on the cartels. 14 years later, the increased military presence in Tijuana really doesn't do much to reassure Moses Zazueta Ramirez, Ph. He's 23. He's a waiter at a bakery near Friendship Park. That's the beach where the border wall extends into the Pacific Ocean. Moses lives in what he calls a dangerous place next.
Look into that, because it's too much killing across that border. And this one thing I noticed about the news, they don't report this shit about the border, but they'll report those immigrants. You got those presidents. Yeah, we need to keep them out of here. They bringing the drones, the rapists, and all that old shit over here. Now I see why they ain't talking about this shit.
Next to an area known as a point where drugs are sold. Since last weekend, though, the military has set up camp in a community center right next to the point. When things in Tijuana started to get tense that Friday, he decided to stay in. He just said he didn't want to risk it.
What you say, Callagher? They got a long fence, a link fence that goes around the ocean. Shit, what they gonna do? They need anybody can jump that giant.
And Moses was working at the bakery a couple of days ago. And we spoke about the truckload of Mexican National Guard that was patrolling the area. And I asked him if seeing them made him feel more secure. Moses Zazueta Ramirez. Nah, I don't think I'm really secure. And I don't feel safe at all. But I'm from the hood, so, laughter, I got to go. Martinez, thank you.
Damn, Martinez said he from the hood.
You. Thanks. And today, President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador visits and tries to soothe concerns. A local politician from a rival party is going to be organizing a protest to highlight what he feels was an ineffective federal and local response. INSKEEP, well, I'm glad, at least, that you were there to illuminate this story that I think would have missed a lot of Americans' attention. It's good to know what's happening in Tijuana. Can you just tell us a little bit about the purpose that brought you there in the first place? What is some of the reporting you expect to be bringing us in the coming days? Martinez, yeah. We're going to be reporting on migration policies of the U.S., how that affects the area here in Tijuana. We're going to be visiting shelters and schools. There's going to be a lot coming up about how the residents of Tijuana, how the mayor tried to deal with that and, in some cases, try their best to integrate people that will not be able to make it into the United States. INSKEEP, our colleague A. Martinez is on the U.S.-Mexico border in Tijuana, Mexico. A, thanks so much. Martinez, thanks, Steve.
I'm gonna let y'all know this, bro. Mexico got American beat when it comes to violence and crime, but they killing at high ranking numbers. And the people that's actually doing the murder is the people that's in the cartel, the drug people. So they killing the tourists for their money and doing drug deals and hits on. It's like you could look at Mexico like the government don't run that shit, bro. The cartel is running the government. But keep this in mind. If it was that serious about drugs and crime, why they just didn't bomb the Kush field where they grow the marijuana? It ain't like they don't know about it. Why they don't go and raid the land where the cocaine at? Oops, my bad. They probably already did and got control of it and made a deal with the cartel. So keep this in mind. All them drugs just don't come on 18 wheelers and all that old shit from truck drivers. You be having the feds, the CIA transporting it through trains. If you really want to get some drugs and transport it without nobody seeing, put it on a train. That's why I seen some shit going down there before and got my ass in. You know what I'm talking about? Cause you never know what you might get off the train. See what I'm saying, gang? How about this shit right here, gang? A fugitive in Tijuana had plastic surgery and face implants, trying to disguise his look because he was on the run for murder.
The manhunt continues for fugitive Tyler Adams, who is wanted for questioning in the murder of his girlfriend in Tijuana. The FBI said Adams crossed into the United States on June 16 and still has not been located. CBS 8 found court records indicating Adams had plastic surgery involving facial implants, which may explain his appearance in photographs released by the FBI. In 2012, Adams filed an unsuccessful lawsuit against the San Diego County Sheriff's Department, alleging 2 inmates beat him up inside the Vista jail. The assault resulted in dislodging my cheek implant and chin implant, the handwritten complaint said, confirming plastic surgery on Adams' face. Adams, 50, has been described as a master of disguise. He is wanted by the FBI for questioning in the murder of this girlfriend, Raquel Sabian, who was found dead on May 31 in Tijuana. CBS 8 spoke to Adams' stepfather, Donald Chafee, in Pennsylvania, who said Adams first had plastic surgery when he was a teenager. He's had so much plastic surgery. He doesn't look like his pictures when he was younger, said Chafee. I have to believe it is psychological. Why else would you have plastic surgery? I thought he was a handsome boy and maybe he thought he can change his heart or his mind by changing his appearance. Chafee was married to Adams' birth mother, Bonnie Schoolcraft, who died in 2013. The stepfather said when Adams got out of the U.S. Navy as a young man in his 20s, he changed his name. Kevin Schoolcraft is the name he was born with. And then he changed his name so many times. But the one that he liked the best was Tyler Adams, because he was really close to his grandma. Her last name was Adams, Chafee said. In 2012, Adams was in San Diego County Court facing felony identity theft charges for using his parents' names and good credit to fraudulently purchase more than $3 million in real estate. Case. He victimized In 2012, Adams was in San Diego County Court facing felony identity theft charges for using his parents' names and good credit to fraudulently purchase more than $3 million in real estate in
$3 million scamming. Man, that boy on the sound.
in 2006 and 2007. Deputy District Attorney Anna Wynn prosecuted the case. He victimized primarily his own parents, and he used their identities to apply for commercial loans and credit cards, and also to buy 5 properties in San Diego that were in high rises. They were very expensive waterfront properties, Wynn recalled. This was his first case ever. I'm very confident that he had no criminal history. He might have done criminal things, but he had no prior criminal convictions, said Wynn. The case was filed in 2009 and took years to resolve, with Adams acting, on and off, as his own attorney. He was unable to assist his defense attorneys twice and was sent away to be evaluated mentally, Wynn said. He ended up pleading guilty to more than 40 felonies and was sentenced to 14 years in prison. When he got out of custody, Adams was transferred to Hawaii to serve time for a previous bank fraud conviction, but in 2019 he escaped from custody. He had multiple identification cards with his photo and other people's names. He also had matching car registrations, legal documents like that, in other people's names, said Wynn. Over the past couple years, Adams used the alias Paul Phillips while fathering a baby girl in San Diego with his girlfriend, Raquel Sabian, 40, whose body was found inside her vehicle on May 31st in Playas de Tijuana. He must be totally out of his mind. I mean, he was always a narcissist. But violence? Asked Chafee, the stepfather. CBS 8 reached out to the FBI for an update on the agency's search for Adams. A spokesperson responded, "No updates at this time. We continue to ask anyone with information to contact the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI or submit a tip online at tips.fbi.gov.
Whoever did his plastic surgery, he need to put a hit out on him, because that nigga still look the same. That nigga still look the same. I don't see how he can. How can you? He look the same. You can't even fool a motherfucker. He don't even look different.
Tips.fbi.gov. Meanwhile, Sabian's 7-month-old baby girl remains safe in protective custody with Child Welfare Services in San Diego County. David Sabian, the father of the murder victim, said he was in Tijuana this week arranging for his daughter's remains to be repatriated to the United States. The FBI is planning to fly Raquel Sabian's remains to the East Coast to conduct a second autopsy, according to the father. Watch related, manhunt for fugitive, FBI searching for man after San Diego woman found dead in Mexico, June 2022.
Murder across our border. Authorities say the fugitive is a master of disguise. I mean, the images of him, you'll see this. They all look different. CBS 8's Chris Groh joining us live now with new information from those court records. Good morning to you, Chris.
Hey, good morning, Netta. Tyler Adams was last seen crossing the border, actually back into San Diego on Thursday, according to the FBI. He used a fake ID, which is sort of his game. Take a look at your screen. CBS 8 dug into his history, and it includes a number of criminal charges. According to court documents, Adams has convictions for identity theft, grand theft, forgery, and receiving a stolen vehicle. He also has a warrant out for his arrest after he escaped a work furlough program in Hawaii. Now, according to investigators, the 50-year-old has at least 15 different aliases and has been called a master of disguise. You can see in those pictures that Adams constantly changes his physical appearance. Now, some of those pictures were taken just last week in Mexico when he was questioned about his missing daughter. The baby girl was found safe in Mexico, but Raquel Sabian was found dead in a car near the beach in Tijuana. We spoke with both Raquel's father as well as the FBI about this case last week.
We know he's got at least one other identification card, probably more, at his disposal to cross undetected. They were living in San Diego for a period of time. They relocated to Mexico, and they had been living in Mexico for a couple months.
And again, you can see right there in just two different pictures, different hair, different faces. So Tyler Adams, again, could even be going by a different name. But if you see anything that looks familiar, you are being asked to call either the FBI.
Look at this, gang. Mexican fitness model found murder in her home.
The body of a trainer and fitness model lay undiscovered for at least 24 hours after she was stabbed and shot to death in her home in Mexico, authorities said. Alondra Getsamani Villasenor, 23, was found by her mother who went to her home in Tijuana to check on her when she did not answer her calls, the Herald of Mexico reports. She was stabbed several times and shot in the head. Authorities believe she had been dead for at least 24 hours. Local police are trying to find a motive for the murder, while witnesses reported seeing someone leave the home in a red vehicle. Ms. Villasenor is believed to have been dead for 24 hours before her body was discovered. Facebook. Inside the house, a 9mm bullet casing and two small bags filled with what is believed to be marijuana was found. Murder is rampant in the border city of Tijuana, which was earlier this year named the most violent city in the world by the Mexico Citizens Council for Public Safety and Criminal Justice. Tijuana is the perilous final step for Central American refugees fleeing violence. AAP.
Look at this shit, bro. That fence ain't doing nothing. Look how they hopping over that motherfucker. So, I see why, you know what, once you think about it, gang, that's why it's so corrupt and fucked up in Mexico that you got these Mexicans say, fuck this. We finna hop their gate and go to the United States, cause they ain't even with this shit, bro. That's how fucked up it is. I mean, if them people wanna come over here, let them people come over here, cause all they wanna do is go to work and shit and make a decent living. That's why they try to come over here and know what I'm talking about. And have a better life, cause you can see now in Mexico that it's so corrupt, man. Them folk can't even support their own family, cause that's how the corruption, you know what I'm talking about, affecting these people's household.
AAP. There were 2,519 murders in the city last year, taking it to the top of the council's list of 50 cities with the highest number of homicides per capita. This year, there have been more than 1,800 murders, with police attributing the surge in violence to drug cartels. An enormous stack of marijuana bundles captured by police in Tijuana, Mexico.
Hold up. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me that's the Kush? Man, I'm finna put an application in. I think I wanna be the feds, goddamn. I know they hiring like a motherfucker, you know what I'm talking about? All this shipment going in, they need all the help they can get on the game. Yeah, I be on the government website tonight. You know what I'm saying? And my Bernie Mac voice, yeah, I be signing up tonight. God damn it. Yeah. Yeah, so y'all go, you know what I'm talking about? Pray I get the gig. Cause this some type of shit I'd be interested in. Be like, what? I smell the kush. You know what I'm talking about? Let me look. Guess these Bella Kush will have you flying with the stars, ain't it? You know what I'm talking about? And then they got some Kush called Cap Kush. I wanna know what that Cap Kush smoking like. You know what I'm talking about? Let me see these nicknames on that mother. Let me see what my shipment niggas. I know I placed my motherfucking order. What my shit is. What? Who got that kush? What y'all smoking on? What you say? You got some of that kush today? The black magic. Shit. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about? I need to get me some of that black magic myself. Goddamn, place me or order that shit. But but goddamn, you see all the drugs them folks just had out there, and I want to know when the feds confiscate those, who got the blue runs? Oh yeah, I had some of that blue run, Jack. Yeah, I kind of fuck with that blue run. Yeah. Matter of fact, I'm gonna smoke me some tonight. You got that right, you know. But I want to know, what do the feds do with those shipments? All them bales of kush. I'm quite sure they ain't putting this shit in no goddamn field and burning it up. Talking about, yeah, we need to burn this shit. Hell no. They burning this shit in some backwoods. No wonder why the feds ain't just getting on top of these cases and shit, cause they full of that goddamn kush and don't want to be filling out the paperwork and shit. So I kind of see that going on in the office. The whole goddamn federal building smell like kush and shit. You know what I'm talking about? You come in there, John, you everybody in there got the munchies. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, it might go to the yeah, you know this shit going to the dispensary. Cause Cause I smoke some weed from the dispensary, right? And it's the same shit that I be getting from my nigga, to be honest with you. I'm talking about, man, how I got the same bud and you got the same bud, bro. And I'm like, man, how much you pay a couple of balls for that shit? You know what I'm talking about? I'm like, well, you pay for that, you need to holler at little Snoop Snoop. You know what I'm talking about? Shit. Shit, I mean, damn, I might as well just go to the dispenser, be like, y'all got that blue run? shit, I got that blue magic. Goddamn it, you know what I'm talking about? They were like, what? You got that shit? Yeah. You want some of this shit? Like, yeah. I'll be back tonight. Bagging in that motherfucker. Beep, beep, beep. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? Pop the hood. Pop the hood.
Scott Simon talks with Tijuana journalist Gabriela Martinez about the recent murders of two colleagues and the continuing violence against journalists there and in other parts of Mexico. Scott Simon, host. I fear for my life is what reporter Lord Maldonado told Mexico's president at a 2019 press conference. Lord Maldonado was shot and killed this month. So was Margarito Martinez, a photojournalist. Both murders occurred in Tijuana. Last year, Mexico had the most murders of journalists in the world, according to Reporters Without Borders.
Man, they let you know, man, they murking anybody that putting out content about their business, y'all. You know what I'm talking about? They murdering people putting their business out. So I want to know, do the Cartel got the feds shooken up? Because I remember that time when they caught El Chapo's son the first time. Y'all look this shit up. When they caught El Chapo's son the first time, don't you know the feds had to release that man because the Cartel raised hell, bombing everything. They were fucking up the whole Mexico City. And the feds said, get this fool then. They ain't even know he was that fucking serious with them folks. I believe the feds can't fuck with those Cartel, bro. You see what I'm saying? They'll run up on Snoop in the minute and make them folks snitches. Look how the Fed got everybody in Young Thug case taking plea deals and shit. And then what make it so bad, look what Young Thug, look at the RICO charges they gave him. Don't y'all know those RICO charges? Don't you know why I call it a RICO charge? That RICO shit come from a Mexican named Rico. You know what I'm talking about? And he was doing or that's what that RICO charge is. That same shit, building an organization, do drugs, transporting drugs. That's the same shit they you know what I'm talking about. That's why the feds call it a RICO charge, cause it came from a Mexican when there was they named it after him cause of the charges they had. I looked in the net. I ain't even know that. But I'm quite sure, man, the feds scared of these folk, bruh. They ran the Fed out of Mexico. That's why the Fed really just don't go over there and hunt for fugitives. Keep this in mind. That's why the feds don't even go and hunt for the fugitive when they on the run in Mexico. Now, y'all heard, look, man, this shit is crazy.
Borders. Gabriela Martinez Cordova knew both of them. She is also a journalist and joins us now. Thank you so much for being with us. Gabriela Martinez Cordova, thank you, Scott. Thank you so much for this space.
Oh, they finna talk about those two Mexican journeys. I already broke down one of them to y'all. Tijuana, July. Look, this in July alone. These motherfuckers got 190 murders in the month of July. Man, it's a pretty busy month. Every year, hundreds of people are reported missing in the city of Tijuana, the south of the border from San Diego. I remember now watching Friday, y'all. What that Friday after next when Day, the one Day was in. And you remember when they in that little movie scene, the lady stayed next door, the Chinese lady, and she was talking about how Tijuana got the drug operation and all that baby joke and them. That's how them news people, that's how Hollywood know all this shit, bro. They know, look, y'all thinking, check this out. Man, they goddamn Hollywood, bro, be telling us some shit in these funny ass movies. Cause I still remember what that lady said about Tijuana when Baby Joker and them were bringing the dope in the house. She was like, yeah, that was Tijuana. The way she was explaining it, the way she was explaining it, it's like that shit was documented some kind of federal paperwork or something. You know what I'm talking about? But But I found out that Suge Knight, MC Hammer, Tupac, they was out in Cabo at the villas. In the same property where Shanquella, not at the same mansion, but on the same property. They was out kicking niggas' ass. Suge Knight was out there beating up his own artists in Cabo. You know what I'm talking about? And I'm like, what? Him, Tupac, they were beating up they artists and shit. And I seen this shit on Vlad TV when he was hollering at the Danny Boy. Cause Danny Boy was like, yeah, we went to Cabo, Texas. Go to Danny Boy. Matter of fact, Vlad TV, go to Danny Boy. That's that nigga that was with Death Row. He gay. You know what I'm talking about? He gay. And he was telling what they were doing in Cabo. Go look that video up because it's the whole interview. Once you go to the interview, it's gonna be like in the beginning of the interview. So I'm like, damn, in Cabo, and then don't y'all know it was some celebrities that died too in Cabo of mystery deaths. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, you seen that shit too, Mike said, so you know I ain't lying. So when he mentioned Cabo, that shit, man, I done set up in my truck and I'm like, whoa. I just heard about the Shanquilla case and I'm like, damn, and then they gave me I'm like, damn, Cabo is the place to go to do all this shit. So when you think about it, y'all think the Cabo 6 did a little research and understand how Mexico worked? Cause now I know the corruption. I know the corruption was bad, and you know what I'm talking about, and all this, but I ain't know it was that serious. I mean, it's the way of life in there. So when Tisha tell that lady that YouTube, when she was telling, man, these crimes, even the doctors in on the money grab, they double taxing the U.S. citizen, and you know what I'm talking about. So now you can understand that nurse that was with Shanquella asking for the money. Look how it's so corrupt out there. With that going on, she's so immune to it that it's a normal way of life. You know what I'm saying? So they said there were 190 people that were murdered in the city of Tijuana, according to Baja California State Attorney General office. Now this, and then once you think about it, that's probably could be one of the main reasons why everything at a standstill on the Cabo 6 case. For one thing, right? People starting to wake up like, damn, Mexico, they fucked up. And then people gonna look into other murder cases. Then they gonna start asking questions like, wait a minute, why this murder ain't talked about? Wait a minute, why, you know what I'm talking about? Like, if this murder happened and if this the procedure, then you start looking at other murders, then you'll see how they were lying to us about how extraditing work and shit. You gotta wait all on the paperwork to be processed and all this old shit. Well, they just got El Chapo's son and they already got his paperwork signed and sealed. That nigga finna go to court. You know what I'm talking about? So they said 4 men were killed Saturday night to close out the violence in the past month. And the city is on pace to form in Dubai, honor the most violent city in the world. And all this shit was in Tijuana this year. This year, gang, they got more murder stories than we. Shit. U.S. citizens.
Tragedy for a migrant family seeking asylum in the United States. After a 4-month wait, a family we've been following during the asylum-seeking process finally made it to the U.S.
But tonight, that family is in mourning. News 8's Brandon Lewis is here now with this tragic Beyond the Border report. Brandon?
Carlo and Marcelo, we have been following the progress of this family of asylum seekers since April. Almost 2 weeks ago, they crossed, but the father, a U.S. citizen, stayed behind in Tijuana until his wife and 3 children were processed. While at a neighbor's home, he and 4 other people were murdered in what police suspect was a revenge killing that had nothing to do with the Caldwell family.
I was horrified. It's a situation that no family wants to find themselves in.
Catholic Charities has spent months following the Caldwell family's fight for asylum. We first met them 4 months ago in a shelter in Tijuana. Philip and his 3 children are U.S. citizens. His wife, Dulce, is Mexican. They applied for a green card, but saying it wasn't safe to stay in Mexico to wait and sought asylum. They bounced around to different shelters before renting a home in the 3 de Octubre neighborhood. On August 16th, Dulce's number was called and she crossed into the U.S. with their children. Philip stayed behind to work on paperwork until she was released. But just 2 days later, he was murdered in a mass shooting at a neighboring home in what Tijuana police suspect was a revenge killing targeting someone else. Officers arrested 3 people carrying guns nearby. They're running ballistics to see if they were used in the murders. We interviewed Dulce last week after she was released, but before she knew Philip had died and was concerned because she hadn't heard from him.
I don't know if Philip's gonna ever show up here. I don't know, because we was hoping that he gonna be here for us after we get out of the place, but I don't know nothing about it yet.
Catholic Charities says his death is sadly not unique among asylum seekers.
And this is an example of something that happens, and it is not the first or last time that we will hear of this. It's a horrible situation. It's a very tragic and sad situation.
It's not known what impact Philip's death could have on Dulce's asylum claim. It does mean she will have to start the green card process all over again, now filing as a widow of a U.S. citizen.
As a widow, we're hoping to have the same outcome. Otherwise, we have 3 U.S. citizen children who can't enter the country. That's not a decision any parent wants to make, not after they've lost their husband.
Catholic Charities is working on helping Dulce start the process for that green card all over again. They are collecting money to help pay for the applications and passport fees, and they're also coordinating donations to repatriate Philip's body. If you'd like to help donate to Catholic Charities, you can click this story on.
Man, that's sad, bro. That shit sad as hell. The United States citizens among 6 victims gunned down in a mass shooting August 18, just 2 days after the victim and the kid crossed into the United States. Oh, Lord. Here goes another murder. Tijuana reached 2,000 murders for the year. Again. You see what I'm saying? These folks said again. Damn, these motherfuckers said Tijuana on track to reach 2,000 murders this year. Again, goddamn. And they posted this December the 2nd, 2022. 2022 shit. That was last month. That was that last month. According to the fugitive published by the state prosecutor office, they had 187 murder in November. Damn, they just had 190 in July. You see what I'm saying? No wonder why they got a travel ban on this shit, bro. It's a total of 1,800 within a month ago. Hold on. Let me read this shit, bro.
According to figures published by the state prosecutor's office, Tijuana had 187 homicides in November, about 6 per day, for an annual total of 1,859 with a month to go. The city recorded 1,969 homicides in 2021. There were 2,000 homicides in 2020.
God damn. Man, if I ever go to Mexico, man, I'm ready for war. It's like shit. You got niggas in the United States toting guns for no reason. Shit, you need a reason to have a gun in Mexico. You know what I'm talking about? You really gotta watch your back out here. I wouldn't even try to talk to no female or nothing out there, bro, cause you don't even know how this shit can lead up to. But I looked at some of all this shit game. Man, y'all just don't know. I looked at, here go another murder. Look. Murder rate showed no signs of slowing down, Jack. And they just, look when this shit June the 1st, 2021, bro. In 2021, they showing everybody, man, look, they let you know shit. In 22, they know how the crime just, man. They said it been 825 valid there through the end of May. And hold on. 825 valid there through the end of May and two. Damn, then they said during the same time period in 2020 there were 833. God damn. Here go another one. Look. Murder victim identified. Y'all see this game? Look at this shit. American accused of murdering a Tijuana prostitute. You know what I'm talking about? They got crime scene photos and everything. One thing about Mexico gang, you look, one thing I noticed about Mexico, they do show valid death scenes. You know what I'm talking about? Because I was looking at some images online. I'm like, damn, they filmed this shit? Cause they don't show us that kind of shit in America. You know, they'll have it covered up, you know what I'm saying, like this. But if you go on the actual website, man, you can actually see the murder. You don't even need no autopsy pictures. So let's listen to this, gang.
The tragic event occurred at the bar on Coahuila Avenue in Tijuana's red light district last Wednesday night, where a young 19-year-old woman was stabbed and killed, apparently by a former NCAA basketball player. Last Wednesday night, a woman was murdered at a bar on Avenida Coahuila in the Zona Norte area of Tijuana, and 26-year-old Logan Kelly, a U.S. citizen, former collegiate.
You talking about Dana White over the UFC. He was in Cabo slapping his wife around. You know what I'm talking about? Then you got another UFC dude. He was a fighter. He just got charged with murder, killing his girlfriend in the hotel room. Then when they described the murder, how he did it, it's the same way Denasia did it. He beat her up, slammed her on the floor, took her clothes off, and propped her up in the bed and went out to go get some beers and came back. And when he came back, she had no vital signs. Same thing what the Cabo Six did. You know what I'm talking about? Same motherfucking thing. There was Dana White. That was Dana White. I pull that shit up now. His face all over the news. Dana White got he was beating up his girl at the club, at a nightclub. He just slapped her around. I seen the video. TMZ got the video. You know what I'm talking about? What two different cases? What you talking about? Hold on.
Collegiate basketball star will be charged with her murder. The police are not releasing much information yet surrounding the murder itself or the man who was arrested and accused of the crime, but there are a lot of uncorroborated rumors circulating, including one where the accused, who still must be formally arraigned, had supposedly commented to some of the bar employees that he was also a U.S. Marine. The murder victim, identified as Isis Italia Montoya Romero, was only 19 years old, and there are also some reports circulating that she might have been in a relationship with her accused assassin, with those reports going on to say that the accused reportedly first met the victim in the Mexican state of Hidalgo 4 years ago and is the